Okay, episode 4, all things boxing. Got a packed house today. So I'm going to do a quick intro, and then we'll jump straight into it. So I've got Jack on my far left, Josh, myself, Ellis, Dan, and Stephen. We ain't done an episode in like 2 weeks. A lot's been happening since then, and we're going to start with the Conor Benn fight. So we had Conor Benn versus Algieri. Conor Benn won by 4th round knockout. And who'd like to start on that topic?
I just don't rate Conor Benn still. Don't rate him, fam.
Early like that?
That's very harsh. That's very harsh.
He ain't for no one worth rating. So I can't really... Everyone's giving me his props, bruv, but we would talk about Algieri.
He's unproven, man. He's getting better.
Unproven is the word.
He's still young though.
But he has gone through everybody that's been put in front of him, and he said he was going to do it. So actually, everything he said he was going to do, to play devil's advocate slightly,
He's done.
He's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I disagree with what you two are saying either.
You can never blame a fighter for who he's fighting.
Yeah.
And like you said, he's finishing guys off in a fashion that you would. For me, I would have expected that result. I just think with his punching power and his accuracy, if you make a mistake or if you're not up to it, there's only going to be one result.
I just don't
whether
get the hype train, though.
Yeah, can he do it at a higher level? That's what we got to see. But as for that fight, he did what he's meant to do.
Yeah, my thing... Sorry, go on.
No, go on.
You sure, yeah?
Yeah.
My thing with that fight was, we was talking about this before we started. Chris Algieri, just facts, yeah, that a lot of people maybe don't know. He's not a natural welterweight. Obviously, Conor Benn is a natural welterweight and a strong welterweight. He's a puncher at the weight.
He's a small light middle.
Basically,
fair, yeah.
like when he gets in the ring, he's a whole... Like, he must be a good 5 pounds bigger than Algieri. Anyway, Algieri's had 3 fights at welterweight, or 4. And he's lost them all. He's fought Manny Pacquiao.
Khan.
Yeah, but Manny Pacquiao, Khan, Errol Spence, and Conor Benn, and he's lost them all. Before fighting Conor Benn, he was fighting at light welter. So in terms of the matchmaking that they're doing for Conor Benn, this is my only issue, is like they're putting him in... Oh, and Algieri's record, 25 wins, only 9 knockouts.
Yeah, this guy doesn't pose a threat.
So is he really going to pose a threat?
He didn't even look like he wanted to be in
when he
there.
commentating before.
Yeah, he was commentating
A lot
before.
of
Couple years
punditry
ago,
stuff,
yeah.
But my point is, when they're selling the fight, and again, I kind of agree with Josh, the fighter can only do what they can do.
Yeah.
But when they're selling the fight, they're not selling Algieri's credentials as they should. Does that make sense? So it's like, we're looking at, oh, he's touched up Algieri, but it's like, just looking at the size of him and the weight, like he should be. You know, Algieri isn't a welterweight, so I don't look at that performance. Although he's improving, I don't look at that performance and think,
We ain't learned nothing.
yeah, I don't feel like...
Yeah, exactly that.
We
Yeah.
haven't learned anything, but what we have got now is Algieri's on his record, isn't it? It's another name on his record. Going off this, it's a stepping stone fight, basically. This is what that fight was, isn't it? And to be honest, Conor Benn, like we're saying, he did what he had to do in that fight.
But when you say stepping stone, that a stepping stone is meant to be somewhere that fight then projects him onto other things.
Yeah.
Like that Algieri fight has done nothing for his boxing.
Right,
It's done nothing
we ain't seen
for
him
his
talent.
career. It was almost just a fight to fill time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
I agree with that.
A real stepping stone should be somebody that's gonna, match him for power. Someone that's gonna swing back at him.
At least a welterweight.
Yeah, or just
At least someone who campaigns at the
yeah,
weight.
because there's a lot of questions about him. What happens when he gets hit back? What happens when the person doesn't just stand stock still on the ropes? Someone that's going to take him to. And I don't even want someone to do all 3 of these things in one fight against him. Just someone to do one of them, and then we see how he handles that. And then these are stepping stones. Just fighting guys that you're going to blitz for the sake
No,
of
I
it.
totally agree with that. I totally
The reason I'm saying it's a stepping stone is because it's another name, innit? It's like it's the first real name that fans might know of, like casual fans I'm talking about, on his resume, innit? So, and going off of this, you think who's he going to fight next?
Well, yeah. Well, is there anyone else that wanted to chip in about the Algieri performance before we move on?
It was
No.
poor from Algeria, innit?
Yeah,
I
I'll just
mean,
go.
Yeah, like
like we said the other week, Algieri's going the opposite direction in terms of his career.
now what was he?
He wasn't going to go and win that fight and then
And they won't go into world
He's gonna
honors
pull
or
up
whatever.
Terrell
Yeah,
Sanders.
no,
yeah,
absolutely.
he wasn't going to win that fight and go and challenge one of the big boys for a world title.
Yeah.
He wasn't even going to go and fight another prospect. Like,
It'll be interesting to know how much he got paid for that.
Yeah, it's probably a
Money,
big
money,
payday
money,
for him
money,
still.
money.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure he didn't fight. He fought in 2019. Chris Algieri, and then he went to fight Conor Benn.
But that was his last fight, 2019.
Yeah, he's been commentating since. It was money. It was money.
Who was the fight in 2019 that he?
I believe it was Tommy Coyle.
It was the Tommy Coyle
Yeah,
fight.
it was
Yeah,
Tommy
and
Coyle.
I mean, he won that relatively easy.
And looked surprised about it.
He did. He did. He looked surprised because I think Coyle was expected to win that. You know, that was going to be meant to be Tommy Coyle's big fight in the States and all that. And Algieri, easily for want of a better word, but you know, he didn't have any problems with Tommy Coyle. But then again, saying that Tommy Coyle was a blown up lightweight. You know, so
Okay, so in conclusion, Conor Benn did what he needed to do. I do want to give him credit for his performance. He is looking better and better. It was obviously a great knockout.
Yeah.
It would just be good to see him challenged, didn't it?
Yeah, no, of course. And this is my next topic. When they're talking about, and this is just having me annoyed, when they're talking about future opponents, again, talking about Adrian Broner. And again, Adrian Broner is a name.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, Jack,
Not a natural welterweight.
but he's not a welterweight. Like,
All right, cool. So this is what I'm.
and we need to look at the boxer, and we need to look at the facts. Let me just land, yeah. So it's
Go on,
like,
go
he fought Maidana at welterweight, lost. He fought Porter at welterweight, lost. Like, he's a 4-time world champion before he was 25 years old, but not at welterweight. So when you're trying to say, oh, it's Adrian Broner, it's a big name, it's like his name doesn't exist at welterweight. He hasn't. You understand? Like, he hasn't
that
shown or
applicant's new.
proved.
and Broner's career all basically started the downward. What do you call
Yeah,
it?
spiral.
Downward spiral after the Maidana fight. Yeah.
And with Conor Benn, Adrian Broner's career has been going down, I believe, before Conor Benn even turned pro.
Yeah, of course. Conor Benn
Yeah,
was a
from
teenager.
So they're
when
going to
that
try and make it now. And I understand what you're saying about money, but like, we have to be clear, and those listening and just casual fans have to be clear that it is just a money thing. Like, we cannot watch him go and fight Broner and think, oh, he's beating a 4-time world champion, you know, big AB.
That's what I'm saying. It's not from a boxing perspective. Of course, no one really wants to see Adrian Broner in the ring anymore. Anyway,
Yeah, against anybody. Yeah.
exactly. But I think
I wouldn't mind seeing Broner.
you might be the only one.
What? Broner and Conor Benn?
No, I know.
Look, I want to see that fight.
I wanna
just
see it.
because I want to see Conor Benn go in there and
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I would like to see the matchup. I want to see Conor Benn, you know, go against another big name. But Eddie Hearn's in it for show business, isn't it? He's a show business guy. He's not really like he doesn't care about the actual boxing perspective of it. He doesn't care about the matchups. Because otherwise, you know, there's other fighters that we've spoken about last time that we want to see Conor Benn in with. But
And we're going off topic here a little bit, if I just respond to you, but it's like, that is slightly the problem with boxing. There needs to be a better balance. Like, it needs to be entertainment and the fighters get paid well. But like, I'm obviously a fighter, so I'm going to have a slightly different opinion. It's like, if I'm McKinson, if I'm Adenisian, if I'm Chris Congo, if I'm Josh Kelly, or other welterweights domestically or just around the world, why aren't those guys being picked to fight Adrian Broner?
But they're not even mentioned.
Why aren't they're not even mentioned? I listened to an interview the other day from some YouTube channel in America, and they had, like I said to you guys a while ago, they had Conor Benn number 3 under Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. They didn't know who Avanesian is.
that tells you that Eddie Hearn's doing his job.
Fam, he's doing his job, but it's like, that is just not a fact.
But Frank
Do you know what I mean?
Frank Warren said the other day, didn't he? He said that he spoke. They spoke about Conor Benn and Avanesian, and I think their reply was, "Oh, maybe Avanesian in a couple fights time." But Conor Benn is also talking about Ugas, who's a current world champion. So if he goes and gets that world title and he wins it, he's not coming back down in level.
What you're saying, Ugas has already with Spence.
Ugas has got match with Spence. That's been kind of given.
Has that already been done now?
The green light.
Yeah.
All right, so let's not spend too much time on the welterweights because we did. But in summary, even calling out Sean Porter, who's just come out of retirement, like, what is the motive here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? You kind of give a guy names.
This is for his career, not really his boxing. Yeah.
Do you know what it looks like?
But you know what? Sorry, bro. I have to say this about the money thing because Josh said this off camera. You're doing Conor Benn an injustice by putting him against these guys who he can maybe win or look well against because of money. Because then when he does fight someone who he's not going to get paid as much for, like Avanesian, and he loses or the fight is closer, his confidence is going to take his popularity is going to take a big downfall. Does that make sense? So you're setting him up for failure unless, in Conor Benn's defense, he makes loads of improvements in the ring. But like, I still don't feel.
But imagine if the Avanesian fight is in 3 years' time, when Conor Benn's a world champion, Avanesian's a little bit past it because how old is Avanesian now? About 33?
He is 33, yeah.
So 36 years old, maybe he's starting to tip the scale a little bit. You know what I mean?
You
And
got to fight challenges, man. You got to you got to take on challenges. That's what boxing is.
But
yeah,
there's
I agree.
definitely
I agree.
We've seen people throw the cherry pick phrase about they're proper cherry picking for him, putting him in.
Oh
with
yeah,
Algieri.
100%.
They said Floyd used to cherry pick. There's an argument to suggest that, but he was still.
No, he fought a lot of world champions as well. Yeah, you know.
Level. He might have fought them at the right time, but they were still at the best.
But I think when you get to that level, he's kind of entitled to run his career that way. You know,
That was money.
in his early career, he didn't. He fought everybody. You know,
I was gonna say that was
You
Money
know.
Mayweather, not Pretty Boy Floyd. You know,
Yeah.
what I was there.
Yeah,
different
no.
stages.
Okay, so yeah, that's the Conor Benn thing. We just had to touch on it because obviously he did fight and we didn't want to roll past it. Next in boxing, we've heard that Tyson Fury and Dylan Whyte, WBC have made him mandatory to fight Tyson Fury.
And finally, he's got his shot now, isn't it?
Yeah, this is going to be obviously a big topic. We've got loads of different fans in the room here. For me, in fact, you know what, Stephen?
Bruh.
Let me. What's your thoughts on, like, just hypothetically, if the fight does happen, because it's not been okayed. If the fight does happen, how do you see it going? Why do you see it going that way?
It's a good fight. It's a competitive fight. I don't think it's as easy as everyone thinks it will be for Fury. I think everyone overrates Fury. I'm not saying he's not probably one of the best heavyweights in this current time, but I feel like there's a lot of flaws in his games that
Let him land.
there's a lot of flaws in his game that I feel like Dylan Whyte may be able to expose in an area that Wilder wouldn't.
Okay.
Wilder's very flat-footed. He's one-dimensional, low volume punches, and someone like Fury who moves around quick. It's going to be 10 out of 10 times. Fury's always going to beat Wilder. But if you put someone against Fury who's
What do you think Whyte can offer
I was just about to say.
his movement, he's a lot more agile.
than Wilder?
Yeah, he's a lot more.
Yeah, but forget Wilder for a second, I guess. Just like Whyte and Fury, like what do you think Whyte can do? Because let's just say I'm on the fence and you're trying to tell me, like, what can Whyte do to beat Fury? Like, how does he do it? Like, does he box him? Is it inside? Is it outside? Is it a war thing? Like,
it would have to be on the inside because he get outboxed if he stands outside all night.
But you have to get inside.
Yeah,
and he hasn't
wouldn't
got
be
a
able to do
hope
that.
in hell.
But Dylan Whyte but we have to give Dylan Whyte credit. He's mobile and he's agile, and that is
He's not as mobile as Fury.
he's not as mobile as Fury.
No, but he's more mobile than
He's not going to be able to cut the ring off and walk
No.
Fury down. And
No, I'm not saying he's going to win.
Feet for it.
I'm not saying he's going to win, but he'll have more success in the fight than what you'd see against Wilder.
I think I don't want to keep comparing the Wilder one because
It's different.
it's
fights.
different.
Yeah.
But I get why you are, because Tyson Fury just fought him 3 times. For me, one thing I think is that Dylan Whyte isn't going to have any respect for Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
He's not going to be.
But looking at his other opponents, I don't feel like anyone's had much respect for Fury either. Wolin was, when he cut his eye, was putting his elbow in his eye.
They might not have shown it.
I don't.
Whether they had,
I think the way Fury boxes, you can't afford to give him respect because you just won't.
He would take.
But what I'm saying is that Fury, because I'm a Fury fan, but as great as he is, I don't think he puts the fear factor in a lot of people. Where Wilder puts that in people, I think AJ at times has put that in.
Do you know what it is with Fury? He doesn't pass the eye test.
That's
Like,
right.
aesthetically.
Yeah. He
Like,
doesn't.
Not, like if you look at Joshua,
Yeah.
like someone fighting Joshua and be like, oh shit, fuck it.
But fighters don't care about that.
But yeah,
Huh?
but
But someone like Dylan Whyte looking at Fury, he's not really.
no,
Maybe.
Dillian
That's where
Dillian
the
knows.
lack of-
But Dylan knows, yeah.
I
I
don't
agree.
know.
even think Fury has really, other than the second Wilder fight, he hasn't really put together a devastating performance in terms of really going in there and hurting someone. He's always outboxed. But that's
He's more of like a clubbing puncher rather than like a one
But
punch.
that's probably what it is. But
Yeah.
if I'm Dylan Whyte looking at that second Wilder fight, I'm hoping that Fury don't turn up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
Of course.
he's only going to knock him out.
What was the second one when he just?
When
He just blitzed him.
Yeah,
Yeah, walked
he
straight
just
through
early
him.
him.
Yeah.
My thing with Whyte, I don't know Whyte, and I haven't seen all his interviews, so I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I'm just not hearing, like, he's just like, Tyson Fury's an idiot. Do you know what I mean? Like, he'll be like, Fury's an idiot.
He's
Fury's an
attacking
idiot.
his personality
He's a this,
as
he's a that.
opposed to-
But it's like, okay, and he's saying, okay, I'm just gonna punch him up. I'm gonna smash his head in. And it's like, I hear that on a Like that's the energy because you're gonna have a fight with the guy.
Yeah.
But it's like, where is the education? Like, how are you gonna go about doing this?
Yeah.
But that's
And he don't have to sell it to us. Let's be frank, he doesn't. He's the fighter.
No, of course.
But it's like, I'm not like, I don't want him to go in there like with like no plan and no idea of how he's gonna do this.
But the other thing as well, I was going to say is Dillian. Fury has faced fighters that boxed how Dillian boxes before. Yeah, someone that's got to try and get on his chest, try and rough up. He's seen it all a million times. Yeah. Now there is really only one Tyson Fury. How do you prepare for this man that can do everything? Yeah, you've never faced anybody like this. You know, let's be honest. Like Dillian hasn't been in with anybody that can do what Fury can do. You know, so how, you can't.
Yeah,
he's seen everything that
because
he
it's
can
like
bring.
we have. Sorry, bro. Go on. You was gonna say.
No,
your
I was
turn.
just going to say, look, in heavyweight boxing, you can always give someone a puncher's chance.
Yeah.
But in terms of evidence, he hasn't even got a puncher's chance because Fury's got up 4 times now.
From bigger
being
punches.
Licked by the biggest puncher
Yeah.
probably in history.
Yeah, of course.
They've done 3 whole
course.
12 rounders.
So then what unless Whyte goes in there and lands 3 clean shots on Fury, which he's not going to do.
He's not going to do.
Well, he's got.
He can't move his feet quick enough to even get there
He's
or
going to have to set up that
correctly.
left hook. And he ain't going
Yeah.
to be able to do it.
So you're going to go in there with the hope of landing one shot. Like, you know, I'm going to go in there and I need to land this left hook. Okay, so Fury comes in, nullifies that left hook, tucks his right arm in.
Yeah.
That left looks. What is the game plan now?
But White's a bit more active than that, though. He ain't gonna just sit around and wait for one shot. He's
He's not going to out jab him.
What he won't be able to set. I just
he won't be able to. He won't be able to.
you won't be able to set traps and stuff.
line him
But
up.
going back to no, so,
Go on,
No,
Jack.
go on,
yeah.
go on.
what you were saying about will he have a game plan? His game plan has got to be to go in there and hope that Fury don't show up. The Fury that just beat Wilder 3 times don't show up, and that he goes in there 2-3 rounds. He manages to land a couple shots in him, and he blitz him. He's got to make it a war.
But
That's
yeah,
that's
I'm-
that's
if
got
I
to be
can't
the
go-
game.
Your game plan can't all be based on hope.
No,
but if you take-
I
But Jack, if you take,
I
the fight-
agree, but when you're fighting, like for me, I agree, but for me, Tyson Fury is the best of all time at heavyweight. So when you're going in there with just because of the size,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying. I think at his size, the skill set that he has, I don't think anyone in history
Has been as big as him.
with the skill set. So for me, when you're going in there against someone like that, you kind of got to have a little bit of hope and a little bit of you got to have your fingers crossed a little bit.
stone men hitting each other at the end of the day. So one punch can turn it.
Go on. I
if
agree.
you're,
I agree
if
with
you're
that.
your fighter, if you're Dillian Whyte, all his technical attributes, all his qualities, how do you beat him? How do you prepare for Tyson Fury fight? What's your game plan?
I don't think he can prepare for Fury because I feel like he's too one-dimensional in Dillian Whyte compared to Fury. We've got the Fury who fought prior, like the first Wilder fight, for example, when he was with Ben Davison. He was mad elusive, hands by his side, like you couldn't come near him. Then he had the second one where he's like he stuck it on you. He's fighting on the front foot. Then we had the third one where he just kind of showed both together. And my thing with Fury,
That Kronk style really came out.
Fury has a hell of an engine. Like he can fight.
He's complete.
You know what I'm trying to say? He can actually fight. Like not many man these days can just slug it out, and Fury can slug it out. And where I agree with Stephen, just a smidget about the Whyte thing and about what you're saying, Dan, about the weight. They are heavyweights. Like anything can happen, and Dillian is like, it's weird. Like I would say he's stronger than Wilder. Physically, he's stronger than Wilder, but he's not.
It's
A
'cause
more
he's more
concussive,
compact though, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a different build, but he's not more concussive puncher. But Dillian would need to fight with Fury for 3 minutes of every round,
To-
not just to knock him out, but to win
To win a
rounds.
round.
To win rounds, yeah.
It would have to be
And when
very
you're saying
good.
he's active, I get that he's active, but it's like Fury can, like in the 7th and the 8th, I do not see Dillian.
That's the thing.
How many times have you
Yeah.
seen his fitness?
It'll be
Yeah, his fitness goals.
Yeah.
And where he's off balance as well. So when he's tired, he looks even more
Yeah,
stumpy.
Fury, fam,
it's-
you think he can get tired against
No,
Fury
it's
from in the fifth
Yeah.
round? He'll be tired, and
Do you-
Fury
do you-
will push him where he don't want to fight.
Yeah.
So hold on. Do you think that Whyte wins any rounds? What are we saying? It's just going to be a shot.
He can win rounds. He can win rounds. He can win rounds.
He's good-
Yeah,
he's
he
good
can-
enough to win
The
rounds.
overall dominating
Because, like we said before, because Fury is not this apparently not this concussive puncher, this big, the fight will go probably a few rounds, but eventually he is going to put punches together. There will be 3 or 4 shots that, and he's a big man that goes to the body and stuff as well, know. And
That's what I'm saying. He's complete.
I think
he
Fury will
can
make it
do
tight.
everything, and he chooses to fight this way. Whereas I think Dillian can only do this one way, and when
Yeah.
that one way doesn't work, and you've got someone that's doing everything, it's
And also
Tyson Fury
Dillian.
can-
Go on, bro.
I was going to say he can change game plan mid-fight as well.
Yeah, like without being told.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
an
He can
elite
read
level
the
fighter.
fight.
But I
Yeah.
told you, man, I got to back the man them, you know what I'm saying? That's,
No, I
that's,
feel you. I
that's
respect it.
from the ends and that. So
Listen, outside of Fury, I actually rate Dylan White. I think he beats Anthony Joshua. If he's
Again.
got,
Oh, you reckon a rematch he wins, yeah?
yeah, I think he.
thank you, my bro. I've said
I
that.
think the
said that
first
still.
fight round, I think he could have done it. He just wasn't fit enough.
He wasn't fit enough.
to be in there, and he was
Because he did wobble him, didn't he?
Yeah, and you got to
Left
remember in that first fight as well.
A lot
He
of
came
success,
from
though.
literally nothing.
Yeah, and I think
Going
AJ's
in-
confidence was up there, and he sort of believed in himself.
This is it.
AJ has developed though since
Yeah.
then.
Do you know what?
They
That's-
both have.
That fight is the fight. So not to go back to it, but that's the fight that we want Conor Benn to have.
Yes.
That's the
That
fight we
big
want Conor
British.
Benn to have.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I
The
mean?
Josh
But
Taylor or
and
something
not to
like
go
that.
back to the Ben thing, but Ben had that fight against a journeyman from France in that Painab guy.
Payno guy, yeah.
but no,
Because you're
wait,
rematching
the
him.
And he
fight,
was
though.
troubled
Come
in
on,
that
fam.
first fight.
If you're rematching guys like that, anyway.
Yeah.
Dylan
Sorry, my
White,
bad.
he's no, you're good. He's something we ain't spoke about. He's changed trainers to
Right.
Xavier. Go on,
What
bro.
I will say though, Dylan White will give Tyson Fury a lot more problems than AJ though.
Different style,
Well,
different.
possibly.
But this is
I
what
can
this is
agree
what I'm
with
just
that.
about to touch on. This is what I'm just about to touch on. He's turned into a bit more of a boxer. Arguably, he got knocked out by Povetkin because he was trying to box with Povetkin. Where earlier, like 3 years, 2.5 years prior, he would have, when he had Povetkin down, he would have blitzed him.
Blitzed him, yeah.
But he's
Yeah,
catching,
yeah, yeah.
and I like to see it catching the jab and returning the jab, and he's boxing under Xavier Miller. But I'm saying, you might as well go back to your old, how you fought AJ if you're gonna try and have a hope to fight
He's got to go in there.
Fury,
to
yeah.
fight Fury.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what he needs to do? When Derek Chisora joined with David Hay, they was big on his fitness. Not going to change him, not going to make him a boxer or only slick. You just got to make him mad fit.
Yeah.
Dylan needs to be able to swing all them shots, them body shots, them uppercuts, and
And not-
whatever he does,
For
12.
and not gas out.
Yeah.
And if he can do that, then fam, yeah, like.
If
But I
a
still
big
feel
ask.
like Fury. Look, we've seen Fury. Oh, I'm doing a lot of talking. We've seen Fury fight Wilder. What you gotta understand is Wilder's 6'7",
yeah.
and that last fight he came in 240 something. Fam, Fury's like 270 pounds, and he's 6'9".
Yeah, it's-
When he stands next to Dylan, fam, Wilder is a big youth for Dylan.
Yeah.
And even he looked like
He makes Dylan look like a small man.
But I think with
So what's Fury gonna make him look like? And when he starts leaning on man,
yeah.
I think
And
we're gonna.
I mean, you know, I think it sounds a little bit disrespectful to Dylan, but this is because Tyson Fury is the elite. Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's no
Oh.
Tyson Fury, I know how long Dylan's been a mandatory now since
Whenever.
since the dawn of time.
Should have been
or
a world
something.
champion, maybe.
But yeah, if Tyson Fury didn't exist, Dylan White has been a world champion or would be a world champion.
I agree.
You know, if Tyson Fury didn't exist, Deontay Wilder probably reigns supreme for me. But yeah, Dylan would have been up there. But I just think that the guys that there are, probably Usyk as well now, you know, they're just too good for him. Whereas, you know, and that's not to do Dylan down, because if it wasn't those guys, if it was the likes of, you know, the Chisoras and the Povetkins and the,
He
you know,
reigns supreme.
yeah.
But the drop off in quality though from the top like Fury Wilder to
Because you think like
White is
Pulev hold world titles and things like that, and Dillian's is a better boxer in my opinion.
just the wrong
than
time,
Pulev.
innit?
Yeah.
Wrong time.
It's just who you're in the era with.
He will win a world title.
Yeah.
He
By the
will
time
get
he's
right.
done. Yeah.
But it is unlucky that he's.
off who?
Around at this time.
Yeah, he's around at the time with
There'll be
Fury.
a vacant
Fury
title.
Fury will step away
To
soon.
be fair,
I don't think
if White wins the title, he'll win a vacant belt.
But I agree with Josh that Dylan can beat AJ. So if AJ gets some belt somehow,
Yeah.
I think he can beat him. I feel like Dylan even has the right mentality
Wilder.
and to do what AJ needs to do to Usyk, to just stick it on him. To
Yeah.
just
I
stick it
think
on
I
Usyk.
think he has a
I was
better.
about to say when he mentioned Usyk there, like Dylan will go in there and
just try and rough
he will
him
take
up.
him
innit?
out. He'll try
Yeah.
to take him
He,
out.
He won't try and
yeah,
box.
he's built more for that fight than
Yes,
AJ.
yeah,
Yeah,
and this is
yeah,
the
yeah.
styles where the styles make fights.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, in summary, if Fury turns up and he takes it serious, because that is another factor. Some of his performances have been a bit inconsistent, but I'm liking how he's sounding and how he's looking with the crunk guy. What's
Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill? Like I feel like
Andy Lee's in there.
Andy Lee's in there.
I see. I didn't like it. I don't like him as much since he's been like the way he boxes.
Who's this? Fury.
Fury.
Okay.
Since he's been with those crunk guys, because you know, like we saw, Josh mentioned the second Wilder fight. He went straight for him. Then in the third fight, he's got that Kronk style when he's trying to hold him, and you're throwing a few shots, and then you're trying to tie up, and then he was getting clocked and he was going down.
Taking risk he didn't need to.
Yeah, and you know, I think we saw a little bit of it with Parker with that Kronk style as well the other night against Chisora as well. And it's I don't think that look.
Yeah.
I don't say it doesn't look as good.
I know what you're saying.
It's obviously effective, and it worked for him because he won the fight.
But I think when you're
But
in
that
there
third
with-
fight was a lot harder for him than the second
Yeah.
fight was.
He was in there with a very big punch.
yeah.
Wilder put on some weight for that fight.
And Wilder was boxing a lot better in the early rounds in the third fight. So but we don't even know if the fight is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like there's still
Probably.
negotiations
Gotta
to
get up for
happen.
that fight, innit?
You got Usyk there. We don't know if AJ is gonna step aside
I personally don't see the AJ fight happening now. You know,
What, the AJ?
with
AJ Usyk.
with Usyk.
No, AJ Fury. I just
Okay.
don't
Oh,
see-
yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I was
Ah.
talking about Usyk and Fury.
So if AJ steps aside, what are you saying? AJ
So if AJ
versus White?
steps aside, no, because AJ will have the rematch clause still to fight the winner of Fury and Usyk.
But I don't think he would want. He certainly wouldn't want to box Usyk again.
No.
He looked like a deer in the headlights in that fight.
I
yeah?
reckon.
No, he really did. Like
He
He
has
fought
to-
the wrong
and
fight.
and
has to
the
win.
first
He has
fight
to.
as well, Usyk was obviously wary at how much bigger and stronger he is. So
Yeah.
Usyk boxed carefully. Usyk knows everything about Anthony Joshua that he needs to know. Next time he goes in there, he knocks him out, in my opinion.
I think the way it plays out, if AJ doesn't get the rematch with Usyk while Usyk's got the belt, I don't think he has an opportunity to get a belt for a while.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah.
But won't that be in the
Because you got to think about it. Someone has to be undisputed. Fury's not going to pass up that chance.
Yeah. Does Fury just
Dylan
quickly?
White's got mandatory.
Because we do have to move on. Does Fury beat Usyk?
Yeah, of course,
Convincingly.
of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
convincingly.
What's that? That's that classic saying:
We,
a good big un beats a good
a
little
little
un.
man.
Yeah.
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 Every time.
Okay, so
I agree.
a fight that it wasn't for no titles, heavyweight, but was a good fight was the Parker Chisora one. So it was their second fight. The first fight, Joseph Parker won. I think it was unanimous decision, but unanimous.
I think it was I'm sure it was a split.
Oh,
It was a close fight.
yeah.
And
I thought
think
it was a close
closer
fight,
than
but
the
it was,
scorecard
yeah.
suggested. I mean, I thought Chisora won the first.
So they have a rematch. I don't think Parker wasn't with Andy Lee going into the first fight. Was
No,
he?
he wasn't. He was with the.
And he joined
Andy.
Andy Lee, and I don't know how much weight exactly he's put on, but I didn't see no abs on
10
Parker.
pounds.
No, he looked big at the
10
weight.
pounds, but he looked big.
Big.
And I've never seen no one.
it was unanimous still.
It was unanimous. I thought it was. I've never seen no one like physically be able to push Chisora back, like straight away.
Yeah.
No, not when he's fatigued and he's going to the ropes, but he's pushing him back. He looked like the puncher in there. And just before we talk about the fight, just talking about like obviously Parker won with 3 knockdowns, and still the scorecards were still quite close. So if he didn't get the knockdowns, it's almost like Chisora would have won.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Parker, and the reason I'm bringing this up because I put him in that mix.
He looked good. He looked
I
good the
put
other
him
night.
in that mix
He looked
because
great in that fight, yeah.
But he was fighting a very poor Chisora.
That's what I thought.
yeah, but he was fighting the same Chisora that everybody else fights.
I don't know. I don't agree.
It's not the same Chisora from the first fight.
Hold on.
Chisora, I could see it. It was. Do you know what? Even his ring walk, when Chisora walked into that ring, he looked. You know, it was almost like a goodbye to Derek Chisora. That's what I was expecting, a retirement announcement. But there was. He was. You know, like the first fight, there was that extra step. There was the little feints and all that. And although he looked like he was just sort of going through the motions. Yeah, and you know, he started getting hit
But even when he's-
uppercut.
But
and
this
he-
is
Even
this
when
is-
he's going
this is-
through-
this is
Go
what
on,
I'm saying with
go
the
on.
Conor Benn thing. Yeah, but
Yeah.
we have to start looking at the quality of the opponents and how much
Yeah.
credit you can give.
Yeah, I feel you.
Parker for fighting Chisora.
But Chisora is consistent in what he does.
he
Yeah.
is. But
That's the same Chisora
when you're
that was beating Dylan White.
He's
Yeah,
the gatekeeper for the
but
next
every,
level.
I think every fight, the way he
Chisora-
boxes.
Sorry to cut you.
No, go for it,
Chisora,
go for it.
yeah, has made a career in the last 7 years
Yeah.
of being that gatekeeper, where he says, if you want to be elite, you got to come see me.
Come
first.
fight.
Yeah.
And because he's in that position, he goes into these fights not trying to be cute, not with any particular game plan. He does his thing, and he's basically saying, show me what you got. If you can weather the storm against Chisora and you can box and you can catch him, you're going to make him either look very basic, or if you're not up to it, you're going to have a tough fight. You might still win, like Dylan did, which I thought he might have lost anyway. You're going to have a tough fight, but not look as good. And
I don't think
that's what Chisora
But
does.
all those
That
fights, all those
uppercut is always
wars,
there.
it puts years on you,
And that's what
it
I
takes it out of you. So
I just think Parker made him look bad.
Yeah, we got to give credit. No one has looked good against that good against Chisora other than David Hay.
There's nothing
Yeah.
different other than the fact.
Fam, he was catching him.
But-
He was rocking him, bro. He was.
How long ago that was that fight though?
yeah.
I'm just saying, no one has looked that good.
I was at that fight live, and I was surprised.
Okay,
how
well, what about
easily
the Dylan White
threw David A around?
The Dylan White rematches weren't that long ago.
No.
Yeah, and he got knocked out.
Yeah, he got knocked out, but he was winning the fight,
This is what I'm saying.
and he like.
You either have to knock him out.
Yeah, but bro,
Or you just
Tank
outbox him.
loses the majority of his rounds, and
Who?
Wilder loses the majority of his rounds.
It's different.
But he's always looked the same. You can't say he's.
But that he looked, he, to
Chisora.
me,
Chisora looked the same.
he looked a little bit worse for me. He looked like that.
I can run with it a little bit. I can run with it that he looked a little bit worse, but I don't want to hear that like he was
Alright,
finished.
cool. So giving Joseph Parker his credit, like he come in with a little bit extra weight. He did look good.
Oh no, Parker did look.
Bro,
good,
the
yeah.
accuracy for a heavyweight, in my opinion, the accuracy was mad.
He was
Yeah,
crisp,
yeah,
he was
yeah.
sharp.
He was landing everything.
So what you saying? If he fights Dillian White now, does he beat him?
I think so.
Parker does.
Possibly.
Do you know what? You know what? You know where I'm thinking. Yeah, outside of all of this, I'm thinking same thing I said about Tyson Fury. A heavyweight. It's rare that we find heavyweights these days. Not to get historical, but it's rare that we find heavyweights these days who can fight after the 7th or the 8th round. AJ can't fight after the 8th round. Usyk can obviously do that. Fury can do that. Nobody else can actually do that. I just see Parker go in there and fight for 12 rounds straight. And I'm saying Dylan just cannot fight.
Bigger now though.
He's conditioned still.
The thing with Parker.
But he's carrying more weight. Like normally it would slow you down if you're heavier.
And he takes a
what I'm
wicked
saying?
shot as well.
Bro, like this is what I'm saying.
Some
Dylan, he
bombs.
caught that left hook from Dylan back in the day.
Yeah.
And it put him down and he just got back up.
Yeah, but it changed the way he fought for the rest of the fight. Though.
I hear you, but I'm saying he
He
didn't get
wasn't
knocked. He
as a-
didn't get knocked out. So he's gonna have that confidence. Back to your question. If he fought Dylan White again, he's like, I've taken your best shot and I was a little man. Now I've put on weight, it's gonna be harder for Dylan to punch a bigger guy.
But I think it's going to be harder for Parker to try and bully Dillian White.
He don't need to bully him, he'll just outbox him.
But I think
but-
we saw a different Parker. We saw a different Parker. We saw a different Parker.
Yeah,
It was a different
He
Parker.
hasn't looked
Against
fucked
who
off.
though?
Listen, he's had two. He's
Bro,
two
you got
losses.
to put it in perspective, innit? Like Chisora, like when's the last time you won a fight? Chisora.
You tack a minute.
No, but
But it doesn't matter. It's, he's still,
you said
like Josh said, he's still
the
seven
thinks-
years,
gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
Regardless.
said in 7 years, yeah, he's built you up a mad career. How many of those fights has he won?
No, but he's fought the best.
no, but it's not necessarily the result. It's what he's done.
It's what
Yeah.
he brings
It's
to the
how the
table. Yeah.
It takes man
Okay.
into deep waters.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
It's how he's made guys
It's
look.
the test. He's the test.
You have that's the test
Yeah,
for the elite
yeah, yeah.
level
For the
of
elites,
heavyweight
yeah.
boxing, and that's
Yeah.
I got time for that because he's made
Yeah.
a career out of it. He's probably one of the highest paid fighters in the UK.
But I
Haven't won a world title.
started to really like towards the later rounds in the
he
Parker
needs
fight.
to- he needs
I
to
was
win a
really
breakup
feeling.
still.
I almost felt sorry for Derek. I'm just like,
I was gonna say,
And this is what I'm saying. Go on, Jack, go
I
on.
do worry for him still. I
Yeah.
worry for
yeah,
Chisora.
you just
And I haven't
enough
felt.
now.
This is what I'm saying. This is where I'm giving credit to Parker. It was Parker's performance that was making us worry about Chisora, making
Yeah.
us think, look,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
Dave throwing the towel, or maybe Dave like maybe he should retire after this because he's holding bare licks.
But that's what Joseph Parker said, didn't it? He said that he wants Chisora to retire.
Yeah, and maybe he should. He's 37 years old. He's taken a lot of punches. He's had a lot of hard fights. All his fights are what they are.
What's
I
it
watched the
like? 12
interview of him.
losses?
I watched the interview of him the other day with Coogan. He was basically saying, look, like brain damage is done in sparring, and he don't spar a lot, and he don't spar hard. And I kind of agree
Yeah.
with
I would,
that.
I would like
Yeah.
to see Chisora go in there with someone
But
of a
now-
lesser level and him go out on a win.
Yeah, but now it's going to be, and this is where I agree with Steven, that he's been doing that for 7 years.
Yeah.
If he goes and fights Joe Joyce, okay, fine. He's fought all these guys. He's fought better prospects than Joe Joyce.
yeah.
If he goes and fights Daniel Dubois, okay, what? You know, like, if he wins, he wins. If he doesn't, it's just like,
Yeah.
This
you
is
know,
the thing. Yeah, I think
paper,
that-
innit?
this is someone who's not aspiring to be a world title,
That's
a
what
world
T-
champion.
Tony Bellew said it, didn't he, in the commentary? He said Derek Chisora doesn't care if he wins this fight. He's not chasing a world title. Do you know what I mean? If he gets a world title shot now, Derek, it's because somebody is gap filling. You know what I mean? Like, I think Tyson Fury even said, didn't he? He said, when once I unify, he said, I'll give me old mate Derek another chance.
He might
I think
even
he's
fall
beaten
over
him
Derek
twice.
for
Yeah,
Derek,
he did.
you know what I mean?
It's just something for him. Do you know what I mean? It will be somebody padding their records. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Let me ask you this then. So if what's next for Joseph Parker then?
Well, yeah,
it's
this
not going to be Dillian White. So who's next for him?
Probably
I would like-
a Povetkin.
I don't think
he could because no.
cut.
Well, to be fair to what he's saying, in the after the interview, they was like, look, the belts are tied up. Most of the top contenders are tied up, so they want to have. Andy Lee wants to give him a keep busy fight, but he don't want to drop the level too much.
So maybe with
Did
What-
Beckham?
what's that?
I thought I was going to say
Povetkin
Povetkin
retired.
He did retire.
What's that guy that
Povetkin
Dylan White fought last year? I can't remember his name. The tatted guy.
Lucas Brown.
No, the one after that.
in Saudi.
No, the one after, and he got knocked down in the last minute, in the last round.
That was Joseph Parker.
No,
But yeah,
Who got knocked? Oh yeah, that was
let me find it.
that was Parker.
because Joe Joyce is
Yeah, that was
Joe
fun.
Joe
Found the
Joyce is,
mirror
is
another
mandatory
time
for
as
the
well,
WBO, isn't he?
Who? Parker.
Joe Joyce is.
I'd like to see him fight Joyce.
Yeah, I'd like to see him fight Joe
Parker
Joyce.
just has
He
to
does
do
not
what-
want that, I think.
do whatever he can now to get in the ring for a strap because he's looking like this is my issue with Parker is like even some of his wins, the Fury he looked terrible. AJ, he didn't look like he was there to do anything. This is the first time I've seen him go in there with real intent, not be look afraid to get hit. And I don't think he is afraid to get hit, but he's
I know what you mean.
always looked a bit hesitant.
He was hesitant
For
against
a long-
AJ
for a long
definitely.
time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's
To
it.
go in-
Oscar Rivas.
Oh, okay,
that would
right,
be a
yeah.
good fight still.
My apologies.
but
That
yeah,
would be a good fight. Yeah.
I just think that he was looking like somewhat a complete heavyweight.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, he's been he's had a world title before. They tried to unify against AJ. When they fought against AJ, it was for the unification.
Yeah.
He had the WBO, so he must have been maybe 27 at the time,
I think he was- no,
26,
he's
beat-
maybe even younger.
He's younger. I think he was about 24.
Because he's right now he's 29, so he's still got time
I think it was about 24, 25.
when he had the WBO.
Yeah.
So he's still in the mix. I would like to see him get a little bit more recognition, like in terms of his name, if that makes sense.
I
Like,
think that's the first good fight he's had though.
That's what I was going to say.
yeah, he's
I
been
don't
in.
think he does.
But to be a world champion, he must have had some good performances before.
he
in
beat
order
Ruiz,
to-
isn't it?
Ruiz, isn't it?
Yeah, he beat Ruiz. That was
Even
really
that
the
was
one.
Maybe a rematch with Ruiz would be good.
But even that was.
Or Wilder.
Who is Ruiz fighting?
Ruiz
I'll-
is fighting
I'll be honest.
the old Cuban guy. I
Yes,
Uh,
Luis
oh,
Ortiz.
Luis
I'll,
Ortiz.
I'll be honest. I don't want to see him stepping with Wilder still.
Who?
Parker. It would be a good fight,
I don't-
but I don't know if that's good for him still. Not right now.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know.
He'd be too timid, bro.
I
Not
still
after the
feel
way that he
like-
fought
Yeah, I
AJ.
think
That's
so.
what I'm worried
I
about. Because if
think
he's
so.
timid against AJ, what's he going to be like against?
Go on, Josh.
This is what I'm saying. He looked like a different fighter.
Yeah.
He's not. What I'm saying is, if he's gonna get rid of those other aspects of his game that we've seen in the past and fight how he's fighting and still improve on that,
Yeah,
he could beat Wilder.
he could be
My
Wilder
problem-
100%.
I just-
My
Wilder
problem, my problem with Wilder, and I just got to back up Wilder quick, yeah. I don't want people to be going like, oh, he can beat Wilder, or so and so can beat Wilder, because Fury has done it.
Wilder's
because
still
it
number
wasn't
two.
an easy. Yeah, Fury's number 2, and I feel sorry, Wilder's number 2,
Yeah.
and I still feel Wilder clears everybody else out, and I feel there's fights,
Usyk?
whether we see it or not. Yeah, I think so.
Power. Yeah.
Whether we see it or not, it's just like I feel those fights have brought Wilder on, and they will bring him on
Yeah,
because he's had 3 fights back to back with Fury.
I honestly think Wilder, if he wants it and he's got the hunger, he could do what George Foreman did and just be a boxer that sits there, throws the 1-2,
And that's
lands the right hand,
And that's it.
And I think he could make.
But he can do that against all these other flat-footed guys,
yeah.
other than Fury. I mean, the only one he'll have a little bit of issue with is Usyk, but I don't think Usyk can hurt him.
yeah.
You know, because Wilder showed bare heart. I know we're going all over the place, but Wilder showed a lot of heart. Like getting hit by someone who's 19 stone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but he showed that heart. Like he got hit, he got knocked down a couple times. Whether Fury's got power or not, he's obviously heavy-handed just by the sheer size of the man in 10-ounce gloves, and I don't see no one else being able to.
And
put it on him
after
like
that second fight, no one would have slated him for not taking that
Yeah.
third fight.
But
You
he
know,
did, and he
wanted
looked-
it,
and he looked
fought
better.
for it, and he looked better.
He looked better,
Yeah,
yeah.
the guy's no fool. Like, let's.
Yeah, I'd like to see Parker like in the mix a bit. I'd like to see him maybe rematch Dylan White. I feel like he should have and could have won that fight. He just started too late.
Yeah.
I would like to see him fight AJ as well. There's too many question marks about
The
what's
AJ
happened.
fight might happen, you know?
Yeah,
If
the
AJ
fight
stepped
could
aside,
happen.
that could make sense.
No, but
But what's the
remember,
reason for it? You
if
know,
AJ
'cause-
yeah.
Well, we just see Joseph Parker coming off a good performance where he looked at, like we're saying, he
Anthony
looked at
Joshua's
his
not going to
best.
be Joseph Parker's stepping stone. He's not.
I know
Gonna
what
be
you
there.
mean.
He still wants to be the A side.
I think
No, but-
I think Parker would need to have one more fight. Just giving credit to Stephen with
Yeah.
a slightly more higher opposition than
Yeah.
Derek
Yeah.
Chisora, in order to cement a fight with someone like AJ.
But AJ's, I think if AJ steps aside for Usyk, he's looking for a fight that he
No,
thinks he can just walk through.
No, he'll. I think the point, to my understanding, you might be able to correct me. The point of the step aside is that he still has the rematch clause, so he just fights the winner
Yeah,
of.
but surely he wants to stay active. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
Does
I
he
think
get
it
step
poses.
aside money as well?
Yeah, bro, yeah.
40 mil, innit?
40 mil.
Crazy
But
like
I don't see him. I don't know, man. There's two sides to the coin with that step aside thing, because it's like,
He might not get the opportunity again.
if he goes and loses to Usyk again, it's like, all right, what do I do next? Whereas if he waits for maybe Fury to go and get
Unify.
handle Usyk.
to be undisputed, then
Then it's
has a
even bigger
chance to fight
problem.
to fight Fury, possibly.
Yeah.
But
But-
that definitely, if he goes and loses to Usyk, his best chance basically is if Usyk was to fight Fury and win. And
You think?
that's his best? That's AJ's best chance.
I
to
think
get
the
back
belts.
from
I
where
think
he was.
Yeah, 'cause he
AJ. I
ain't
think
beating
AJ might. I think Usyk's got his number. So I think.
Yeah, 100%.
I think
I agree.
opposite. I think he'll held.
How does
go
he
on.
get to Fury then?
I think if Fury beats him, and then he'll fight Fury for all the belts.
So do you think AJ beats Fury?
He has
No, but
got-
I think he's got more of a chance to beat Fury than Usyk.
No.
Fam, Usyk's got his number, bro. He ain't got a chance against Usyk.
Bro, if Usyk's got his number, then
Yeah,
Fury's got
Fury-
something
yeah.
else, bro.
Fury's
I
just a
think-
big version of Usyk.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
a much bigger version.
I just
Like
think.
five
I just
inches,
think.
70
I think a lot
pounds.
of it is the southpaw thing, bro. I think a lot of it is
Do you
the
think
southpaw.
it was that?
I think a lot of it is
I
the
think we see.
southpaw thing.
I said it last time, and I think we see a different AJ next time. Like,
Yeah, no doubt we will. But I still, and this is what I'm saying. Just because we see a different AJ doesn't mean that we don't see a different
different
Usyk.
result. Yeah,
doesn't mean
I-
that it's not going to be a different result. It could
I
be the
hear
same
you.
result.
I do hear you on that.
He'll just get counterpunched a
And,
little bit
and
more.
you know how
Hopefully
much
not.
can, I don't know how long, say there's a year or 18 months in between the fight, how much at this elite level is he really gonna improve? What you're gonna
Who, AJ?
yeah, he can't, you know,
can change.
it's-
There's a lot
that
you,
can
change in
you
that
could
fight.
yeah, but I mean, then to be able to go and do it at the elite level, you can be shown stuff,
Yeah.
and you can practice
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
in the gym.
He's got
it's
AJ's
like
got
the
to go back to
1%.
what he fought before.
Yeah.
For me, he don't necessarily need to improve though. He
You just got
with Usyk, he just needs to do something different.
He's got to throw his hands.
If you're talking about
Yeah, he's got
if you're
a
talking about improving, you're talking about improving skill and level
Mm.
and ability. Like he
or
doesn't-
doing something different, not even something, you know,
wasn't-
something
He can
else.
I definitely think he can do something different.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really feel like he.
But where
His heart was gone,
what is he
Do you know-
going?
do you know
What
what he
is he
needs
going
to-
to
do you know
go
what
and
he needs to
learn
do?
now that's going to make any difference to
Do
it?
you know what he needs
But
to
lepers
do?
don't change their spots. That's what I'm saying about Joseph Parker.
He,
though.
he needs to. You remember Yard and Arthur fight?
Yeah.
Joshua needs to come out and just be just as
No,
aggressive.
but even that was circumstantial, don't it?
it was
Somewhat, yeah.
It was circumstantial.
But I get what he's
Joshua-
saying.
Joshua needs to.
That's the
bow
game
down
plan.
and stuff,
Yeah.
and he needs to-
Like, I think they said in the yard fight, again, not to go off topic, but they were saying he's fighting every round like there's no next round.
Yeah,
And AJ kind of needs to
He
conduct
needs to do
himself
that,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
If
no,
you
I
look
get
at
it.
it in
But
6
he's
rounds.
been a little bit gun shy since the Ruiz stopped him.
I think
a
the
bit
gun
flinky
shyness.
with the-
I said this on one of our first episodes.
Yeah.
He's been gun shy for so long, and I think he doesn't trust his chin, and he don't trust his engine.
He's never been.
My thing is he don't
Yeah.
trust his
I
engine.
was going to say it's his engine. more
It's
than his
the
chin.
yes, the engine. I see it against Pulev. The old AJ would have when he hit him in the third, he would have finished him because AJ is a very good finisher. But it's like he let him back in the fight, and yeah, I think he don't want to get tired. And in the Usyk fight, sorry, my voice went high. In the in the Usyk fight, in the last round, he was gassed. He was all on the ropes doing the Mazzolini.
But that's because he was tired. Not
He wasn't even getting hit.
but he was
just getting touched.
But it's because he'd fought at Usyk's pace.
You know what it was this, bro? His brain was
and
he couldn't keep up.
Els, you'll know this probably better than anybody else here. It's like whether if you fight someone else, whether it's slower than your own pace,
Yeah, it's still-
or
it's not your
it's
pace.
not your pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he-
no, 100%.
Usyk slowed him down when he didn't want to
very
slow down,
correct.
made him fight when he wanted
didn't.
to
Yeah,
fight,
very-
and
yeah, very
that is flipping exhausting.
very
Yeah,
good,
and
yeah.
it's tiring. It's mentally tiring because
mentally.
you're trying to figure out this guy who's constantly doing something different, and AJ's boxing brain is a little bit. For want of a better word, a bit amateurish as well.
he's
It's
trying to-
very
he's trying to fight a
one,
boxer's
two,
fight.
It's different
1, 2.
amateur pedigree,
Then you've got
don't
this
it?
guy giving you angles that you've never seen. People
That's
said,
what I'm saying.
people said
It's-
Usyk
yeah.
was giving him weird angles.
That's why I
He
say
wasn't.
it's
He's
the
just giving him
southpaw.
regular angles that he wasn't used to.
But it's because he's a
It's the
southpaw.
It's
as
southpaw,
well.
yeah.
And he's doing all of that. It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
AJ. And AJ isn't like technically there compared to Usyk.
No, it's not at all. Not
Fighting a
at all.
southpaw, he's going to be like,
Not at all.
man.
Yeah, I
And,
don't know.
and, tho- and those Ukrainian southpaws are like when you see a wealth of
him,
them at the moment, the
Lomachenko, all them, man.
Lemochenkos and all those guys, and the way they're pivoting off to the
And you
right.
don't feel like none of this will have an effect on Fury. I'm just beating. I'm just.
I think Fury's too big still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
The size and speed.
size
Just,
wise.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree. I just wanted to see what people thought.
That's still why I say Fury.
Usyk's a natural cruiserweight, right?
But
You're a cruiserweight.
technical
Cruiserweight,
tech
yeah.
box
You fight a
boxing,
290 pound.
Usyk-
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's gonna happen, isn't it? Yeah, trust me.
No offense. but-
Oh, no, I got
In
you.
terms of technique, Usyk all day over.
No, I just think that Fury's technique looks a little bit different because he's 6'9".
Yeah.
Usyk's technically better, but
You can't compare technique.
Fury will take the technique out of the fight.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because he's,
If
he's
Fury-
so
if Fury was-
unpredictable
yeah.
with what he does. There's
Yeah,
He'll take the
I think
technique
if Fury had Usyk's dimensions, he would be just as good as Usyk. It's just because he looks a little bit bigger. Like when he moves his head, it just looks funny, innit? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Fury, like-
But he's a big guy. He's carrying a lot of.
yeah.
He's carrying a lot. And he's gonna look slightly different. I do worry. Going back to AJ just a bit. I do worry that like people are willing to dig into their pocket to get AJ to step aside. Like I worry for his legacy. Like that must not feel good. This guy was on top of the world at one stage.
I know, and his
in
record-
Saudi,
his record-
and now they're asking him to go and step aside. Them same
like
guys
his
that
bank
was
account.
begging him to come over there.
Yeah, because boxers want to see a real boxing fight, innit?
100. But now I'm thinking like if AJ steps aside or loses to Usyk, it's like
He's got nowhere. He's got no options.
Damn, if he does
what is he? Yeah,
I
exactly.
think
like
I said this the other day. I said,
I think he's
don't have the belts. No one ain't really.
bro, I feel he's in a very sticky place.
This is the thing. I think it's almost a downfall. Usyk having all of them and Fury having the other one
Yeah.
because you're going to miss out on potentially better fights because there's going to be those two trying to unify.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to see AJ and Dillian and these guys potentially fighting each other, but because all the emphasis now on getting all the belts to one person, as fans, you know, you will miss out on
But
potentially.
we
good
might
stuff.
get those fights, but it's just not for the world titles, isn't it? Like I think I still want to see Wilder Usyk. I want to see like the Dillian.
But I don't think that will
Fury.
happen
I
because
reckon
of
that
just
could happen.
politics, man.
That could happen.
I would like to see AJ and White
Usyk's too
fight
busy
again.
trying to fight Canelo.
If we get an undisputed champion,
Don't even talk about. Don't even. Go on, Josh.
An undisputed champion, the fights will have to happen. They'll have
No, but I mean, like, I would still like to see AJ and White fight each other, but that probably
of
won't
course.
be for any unified or any.
It will be like a Kell Brook.
No, but I'm saying if,
Like
if it's
it's
not,
gonna
gonna come
later,
to, but that happens a
once they're
lot in the
retired.
heavyweight.
but I'm saying if it's not
world,
for
doesn't
if
it?
it's not for a belt, it probably won't happen.
But then that's what I'm saying. If someone's undisputed, unless you
Yeah,
fight
yeah.
that guy, you're gonna have to fight someone else.
Yeah.
No,
I
if
mean,
So that's why I'm saying with an undisputed champion, it kind of puts everyone going towards the same thing.
especially in the heavyweights as well.
And that's why back in the day, fighters used to fight each other 2-3
Non-stop.
times because they were chasing.
That's who there
one
is,
or two
yeah.
belts.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like when
all
it's spread
split all
out,
over the gaff, yeah.
there's
Yeah.
different routes
Yeah.
you can get to.
And in the lower weights, they can move up, they can move down. In the heavyweights, once you're up there, it's only those top 10 guys, you know.
it's why you end up with like a Joseph Parker winning the world title. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
And a Charles Martin.
Okay.
Them
Charles
both
Martin's
there,
making a return, by the way. Yeah.
He stopped someone the other day.
Yeah. He's calling out AJ. To be honest with you, there's a lots of fights.
Yeah.
If AJ loses, there's so many fights. He could go and fight Dillian.
He could fight Wilder, Dillian.
Wherever that is in his career, we're
Do you
gonna
really
watch
think he'll fight Wilder?
Yeah, he will.
Who?
That's a very dangerous fight to
Who?
take.
It is, but
Who, Wilder
like,
did-
Yeah, no, Wilder and AJ, but Wilder and
Oh,
it's
AJ.
a dangerous
but
fight
if he
AJ.
loses, AJ loses his belt, why wouldn't he take the Wilder fight?
because
Because he's gonna fight-
Fam, if
fight
he gets
White.
knocked out by Wilder, like it's a dangerous fight,
It's a
Yeah, it's
dangerous.
still-
and there's no belts.
But it's still
And
the
AJ
it's still the
AJ's
highest paid.
AJ's
fight.
got that Conor
No,
Ben
the
effect.
highest-
Sorry, bro. AJ's got that effect, like what you said about Conor Ben, where he can fight a number of people, maybe 5-6 people, and get highly paid for all of them.
Yeah.
He don't need to go begging for Wilder. Fam, he'll probably get more money to fight Fury.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
and it's a
outside
less
of-
dangerous fight physically.
Yeah, physically it's a less dangerous. It's going to be more
But
humiliating.
outside of Fury and Usyk,
Yeah, you're
Why-
thinking
why
like
is-
you're thinking
why
like a
is
boxing
the-
fan.
No,
I feel you.
Yeah.
White is the biggest money fight
Yeah.
outside of Fury and Usyk for AJ.
Yeah.
Because of the rivalry, the bad blood, you know.
Yeah.
and Wilder's already lost 3 times, so it
Yeah.
might make Joshua.
Yeah, but
a bit
AJ's
more
lost 3 times now, isn't he?
Getting in there still.
Who's he
No,
lost
he's lost
to?
twice. He's lost twice.
Yeah,
So,
Ruiz and Usyk.
Ruiz and Usyk, yeah.
Well, yeah, there's a lot going on. We've got 10 minutes. We didn't have this in our notes. I just quickly want to bring up Spence and Ugas, and obviously potentially Terence Crawford will probably carry on into our next episode. But has anyone seen Ugas fight? Has anyone seen many of his fights?
See the
He
Pacquiao
was
one.
one that beat Pacquiao, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some...
He fought Porter as well.
He fought Porter as well?
Porter won, but people were saying it was a.
Close fight.
It was a good decision.
It was
I
like a
think
yeah.
I only saw the Pacquiao fight because he beat Pacquiao and no one was expecting it. So I watched a few highlights, but that's not really enough, I would say, to forge it.
Ugas is one of those like he's a Cuban.
Yeah.
He's something like that, yeah.
I believe he's a Cuban, so
I'd
like,
say something like that.
and he's a southpaw Cuban.
Well, they're all southpaws, you know.
Yeah,
they,
them
they,
southpaw
they, they
Cubans.
turn the orthodox.
But to be fair,
fighters
Errol was a
purpose.
southpaw. I worry a little bit. Errol was obviously my favourite fighter, but I worry a bit for Errol. Like the car accident, okay, he came back and fought really well against Danny Garcia. But then he's had the eye thing with, what did he have? He had the Kell Brook injury from
The
sparring.
detached retina.
Yeah, so hopefully that don't affect him. But
Smart move from him.
oh no, yeah, of course, that's unification,
Unification and
and then he'll be the A side against
that's
Crawford. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Cuban.
Say again.
Yeah,
He's
he's Cuban.
Cuban.
I was
He's
just
Cuban.
confirming.
Yeah, no, he's Cuban. He's a problem still. He's good.
But does it matter to who the A side is in the Spence Crawford fight? Because
We're just me talking
oh,
financially.
you mean financially?
And I think that's what
sticking point. Innit?
that's why it's a smart move, because if he's got all the belts and Crawford hasn't got any belts,
It's can only be one way.
what's it going to be like? 70-30? Like
No, I don't think so.
65-35? Like it could be. But you know why Terrence is a G? Because Terrence will take that fight same weight.
Same way.
He'll
yeah.
still take
They're
the fight.
running-
And he'll win as well.
He's
And he will
taking
win
it.
convincingly as well.
Do you think he beats Errol?
Oh, easily.
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 You know what?
Easily.
You know what?
I know. And I was really worried about saying this because
Bruh.
I know how big you are.
Easily.
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah, no.
I've
Yeah,
been
he's
slightly watching
like,
Crawford still.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Steve.
he's,
I've been-
Crawford is a bag of talent. Yeah, and I'm not saying Errol Spence isn't, but I think
man.
if we're going to talk skills and what they and I've compared, I'm not going to say Errol's one-dimensional, but he's a lot more sort of textbook than Crawford is.
He's got
And
fundamentals.
Crawford can do different special things.
My
man.
thing.
Bud's different, man.
But you know what, Ellis, yeah? Because remember,
Yeah.
Spencer's my favourite fighter.
Yeah.
And you know how much I've been rating Spencer.
Yeah, for early, yeah.
Sat in the
And
wrong
I
seat.
only
man.
started paying attention to Crawford recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
And bruh,
No, he's hard.
even I said to you the other day, I think Crawford stops him.
My thing is that like,
I think he stops him still.
see, that is just
think-
that
I wouldn't.
makes
I
me
wouldn't.
wanna, like,
But hold on. I wouldn't be surprised if he stops. Let me say.
for me, it's like, oh yeah, I
But
don't know.
based on what though?
Yeah.
Based on what?
Alright, let's go.
There's a hope.
All right, no, let me
Let's
touch-
hope and
Alright, we've
dreams
got 10
again.
minutes.
Errol's one of the
always
biggest
got hope.
welterweights
He is.
out there.
Yeah.
Bro, this is what I'm saying.
And I'm-
Errol
I
is
ain't-
not even
bro,
a proper
listen,
welterweight.
I rate
Okay,
Errol,
you do your
fam.
thing. Do your thing.
I rate Errol highly, but the thing is, yeah, I've been watching Errol Crawford. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the only fighter to make Sean Porter look meaty, basic, without even being that active.
But he was down on the cards in
Yeah,
the 10th round.
I've ported
He was. But if you
So like, how basic was he making him look if he
But
was down on the
Porter's
cards?
he didn't
hard
look, Porter
matchup.
did not look.
And you know
effective.
what? And I told you this on the phone. I knew this guy was going to
didn't-
bring this
he
up.
didn't
Fam,
look as
we
effective.
can't talk about the Porter fight. We can't compare Terrence versus Porter and Errol versus Porter because the style of Porter
style, yeah.
is just so horrible in a
Yeah,
way
yeah,
that it's like.
And style.
And also, Errol fought Porter's fight. He didn't have to. We've seen evidence where Errol can box on the back foot and stay away. Against that Bundu guy, against Danny Garcia, just kept it at range. Against Mikey Garcia, just kept it at range. He decided to fight Porter's fight because of the build up of the fight and all of that. But
He didn't
no,
need to.
no excuses.
Fair enough.
But my point is that Terrence fought to win. I feel like Errol fought to kind of prove a point.
Yeah.
He wanted to stop him. He wanted to get him out of there. Porter's came out and said that Terrence don't punch nothing like Errol. Fam, Errol, it's the same thing with Conor Benn and Chris Algieri. Errol gets in the ring and he's a middleweight.
Yeah,
Like-
he's a big guy.
Or at least a light middleweight. At least a big light middle. Terrence has only just come up. Where are the holes? See, you getting me?
But his
I don't-
IQ,
I
his
don't-
IQ,
I don't
bro,
think-
it's-
Where are the holes in Errol's defense to say that Terrence is going to be slapping him? Going back to what you were saying, fundamentally, like his hands are always up. Like he's got good defense. He's a southpaw, so that whole switch hitting thing that Terrence did ain't gonna have the same effect on other guys. Because if he switches southpaw, who's gonna be the better southpaw? The natural southpaw or the switcher? Obviously Errol.
Yeah, but he stays the movement and the feet and the,
He's a
like,
better boxer, but I'm saying if they don't knock each other out, I feel like Errol outworks him.
I don't think there's a knockout.
I think he
No,
would
Ellis, no, you're right.
pepper
still.
him.
You're right.
Fam,
If-
do you know
if
Errol
Crawford don't knock him
Spencer's
out
output? His
on
punch
rounds,
output is
he'll
mad.
win round.
Errol's punch output, he'll win the fight on points.
Yeah.
I just can't see him throwing, but I can see
yeah.
Bud not being there when he punches.
Yeah, I can see him.
But-
He'll move and he'll swerve him and he'll.
But is he gonna
know.
like? How's he gonna land on?
I tell you
Errol,
what,
bro?
let's just watch it, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's make the fight. Do you understand?
yeah. I'll chat to them.
Go on, then. Get on the phone, man. Get on the phone. That's what I want. That's the fight to see, though. That's the best fight.
That is the best fight out there. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one that everyone wants.
That's
to
literally
see.
like a Canelo and Triple G type thing that we needed to see
Yeah.
for years.
And you don't want to see it late either. You know, like the Brook Khan.
The sad thing about it though, it's not that big.
You don't think?
For the casuals,
It's
yeah.
big. It's big in the boxing world,
Yeah,
massive, but
Yeah.
it's just not. Canelo Triple G had some next level.
It's the Mexican
of,
thing, though, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the Mexican.
It's not even
Yeah,
that. It's
American-
brand.
And it's because they're
American-
middleweights.
Yeah.
Like it was, they
And
hadn't
I
had a middleweight.
And
Was
American
that big?
promotions is
I think if it was that big, we would have seen it already.
We'd have seen it a long time. Yeah, I agree. Especially
Yeah.
post COVID, when they're trying to make fights, I think we would have definitely seen that. But there's no money in that. There's money in it, but I agree. There's not enough money in it. That's the all the marbles fight.
it's not
Do you know-
it's
do you know
not
what's the
it's
shame
not a
as well?
state.
That
It's
was
not going to
like
sell out
on,
stadiums, is it? Like
A lot
No, I
of like
think it- I
Andre
think-
Ward's fights as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of his
Yeah.
fights were like
yeah.
like.
But he didn't have, other than maybe Carl Froch, he didn't have the dance partner where Spence and Crawford have they're each other's dance
Yeah, he
partners.
was he was elite above everybody else. I mean, but you
Yeah, I
two
don't-
were their best at the time.
Like that fight deserves to, like, it will sell out a stadium, but
Bro,
it
in
deserves
America,
to be
I think it
pay-per-view.
sells.
Yeah,
In-
but
oh, bro,
no,
of
but it
course it'll be
deserves like Mayweather numbers.
No, Errol is a pay-per-view foul.
no.
No, he is, bro.
Not
He
like
is.
no, but not like Mayweather. Like
Not on his
the
own.
Nah, Mayweather was fighting guys with crazy followings, bro.
Yeah,
You got to remember who he was fighting.
he always fought a Mexican.
You
on
always
three
put a man with a
programs.
country,
Bro,
still.
Yeah.
Mayweather, Canelo are like one of a kind at the
De La Hoya.
Yeah, at the
He always fought a
lower
Mexican
weights,
on the 5th of May,
not
which is
normal.
their holiday.
Yeah, but I just don't see it doing the pay-per-view numbers.
No, it won't.
that,
It won't.
You know, like that it deserves.
But I don't think. I think it will. But I don't think we can talk about Floyd yet, or because Floyd's opposition were very cleverly picked. Ricky Hatton, Marquez, Canelo, De La Hoya.
Yeah.
They all had.
Gatti.
This fight is like Floyd and Zab Judah. That didn't sell as much maybe as some of them other fights, if that makes sense.
Probably not even made
Because
Yeah.
they're people that are a fan of Spencer.
Yeah,
fan
yeah,
of
yeah.
Crawford.
Like
They're not
this-
the casual arm.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not the casual arms fans. They're boxing fans. Which
Yeah, they're
there is
boxing fans.
there is
Do
less
you
of.
know what? Do you know what would
You
do more
put-
numbers?
I've
Conor
got-
Benn and fucking Bruno would do.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I think that's disrespectful. I think I was gonna say
People-
Khan Brook does
No.
more numbers than that fight.
No,
Unfortunately.
fam,
It
in
does.
America.
in America.
Maybe-
Fam, in America, bro. Errol is a
This
seller.
thing,
in
you
America,
could
bro.
put Canelo in there with
he's been fighting on
Chavez
pay-per-view.
Jr. again, and it's going to do huge.
Canelo,
numbers.
you're saying?
If Canelo boxed Chavez Jr. again, that would sell out stadiums. That would be a massive draw because there's a lot of casual fans there that are just everyone loves
I got a
Canelo for
question,
some
I got a
reason.
question.
All right, last question because we're running out. Go on.
Spence or Canelo? Well,
At welterweight.
yeah, it like.
Okay, catch weight.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically speaking.
Okay, pound for pound.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If Canelo was smaller, I'd go with Spence.
yeah, me too.
Because I just don't think Canelo's advantage is the power punching that he has, but he wouldn't have that if they're the same weight. I mean, it will be a closer. He's more explosive than Spence. My thing with Spence, I just got to say, is my last thing because we've got to stop. Defensively, he's just not easy to hit.
Yeah, you can't break him down. still.
Like you're gonna hit him with one, and then he's gonna tighten up. You're not gonna hit him with 2 or 3. He don't get reckless.
But Crawford's impossible to hit as well, you know.
It's going to be that bit where he tightens up. That's
We'll
where
see.
Crawford will.
We'll see.
I'm not
but
even
listen,
taking anything from Spence. I'm looking at Crawford like, how do you beat him?
yeah, I get you. But my thing is, Spence is relentless, but he's fundamental.
Yeah.
He's like a tidy Derek Chisora, a tidy. He's tidy, bro. He's tidy with it.
He's crisp. He's
Yeah,
tight. He's
man,
that-
like-
bit like Josh Buatsi is as well. Like
Tidy.
he's got that tightness, that snap.
And he works for 12 rounds.
Wow.
And Crawford takes like 3 rounds. We saw it. 4 rounds. He was down again. Last thing. He was down on Porter just because he just weren't doing enough. Not because Porter was doing the Mazza. He was just down because Porter was doing more and Terrence weren't doing enough. Anyway, listen, that's us. Episode 4. Like to thank all the guests for coming. Follow us on Instagram at All Things Boxing Podcast. And we want to thank you guys for liking and subscribing to our channel and all the comments that we've received. And yeah, just continue to support. Yeah, we appreciate you. All right, cool.